Hi guys, it's Wave Master here. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Divi theme by Elegant Themes. Now the Divi theme is a theme that allows you to customize your WordPress website and get it looking pretty much almost exactly the way you want it using their page customizer and their theme customizer. Now what we're going to do in this video, we're going to look at the pros and cons and just the inner workings of it, because I'm going to basically bring up a test site that I've created for the video, just so I can show you exactly how it works and where the strengths are and where some of the weaknesses are. Now this theme is fantastic. I've used it to build almost 100 websites for myself and for my web design clients, but it's just a really solid theme and one of the best on the market today. So if you do want to check it out, I'm going to pop a link on the screen, which is an affiliate link, which means I do make a commission if you go through and make a purchase. But yeah, we're going to, in the video, we'll show you exactly what you can expect. So if you do decide to follow through and purchase it, you know exactly where you're heading with it. So what we're going to do, we're going to jump on the computer and have a look. So yeah, let's go from there.
Okay, so we're just inside the computer now, and basically this is what we're looking at here is the Divi theme by Elegant Themes. It's a pretty awesome piece of software. As you can see, the sales page sort of shows a fair bit, like shows how easily it is to customize bits and pieces using the visual builder, that sort of thing. They really go into a lot of detail into what's possible with this theme, which is pretty cool. But just thought I would show you basically, like I've put together a lot of websites in my time, but I thought I'd just show you a handful that I thought of quickly now. This is my main web design site that I use, and I've actually used Divi to build this landing page and put together the basic bits and pieces, and it just sort of shows you what's possible with it. And it's just a very easy theme to use, and as a designer, it means I can just focus on the visuals. But as you can see, there's not a lot of graphics really involved in this, so you can really make it look very clean and professional without having to be too focused on creating awesome imagery. Same here with this particular website I did for a client, which looks once again pretty sharp, nice boxed sort of layout. We've got a different navigation on the left here, which is quite easy to set up just with your builder. And then obviously on the other pages we have a different, more compact navigation at the top. Training for Warriors Gladstone. As you can see, I do a lot of fitness sites. Very cool. Some of the little animations in that. We've got a slideshow in the background. It's very easy to sort of get what you want. And of course, the main website, which I'm actually logged in at the moment, will build your blog. This is my main blog I use for tutorials and education. This was also built in the Divi theme. Once again, it's been it's been very easy to use. I try to get a little bit more fancy with the graphics there. I'll probably be looking at redesigning some of this in the near future, because it's always good to keep things fresh. And this is one thing Divi makes easy, because I can actually clone a page quite easily, work on it, and get it looking the way I want, and then just simply make the switch. I don't have to worry about editing the one page all in one hit. So it's going to be pretty easy. I'm looking forward to getting into that myself personally. The other thing is we've got another website open over here on this tab, which is actually not the Divi theme, but a free theme I downloaded. This is the website that I'll be sort of doing most of the work on. If you do want to sort of have a look and see what's possible with the Divi theme, if you really sort of hone your skills on the website, I do have a link in the description. I'll pop it up on the screen too. Once again, an affiliate link. It shows you a few examples. If I open this one up, you can see here just how easy it is to create a really effective looking site. Very cool. We've got a few other ones down here. We can take a look at this one. Very cool, very visual sort of website. Good use of color. As you can see, there's not a lot of like massive graphic design in here as much as it is just setting up some of the rows to look nice and complement each other. You don't have to be an expert in Photoshop or something to take advantage of the visuals. They've got a lot of good features that allow you to do this pretty easily. And it's just a very handy theme to work with. So in order to get started, I'm going to show you just how easy it is to install. Obviously, now, a lot of you out there, you're going to know that installing a theme is pretty straightforward when it's a premium theme. But if you've never used a premium theme before, it is pretty straightforward. We just go into Appearance, Themes, Add New Theme, Upload Theme. You can see I've got Divi right here, so I'm going to open that up. Install. Theme is now installed. All I can do is activate it. And then you can see we're up and running. The Divi theme is now the active theme on our website. So if I go to the home page, you'll see here that the theme has actually changed, and obviously we've got our default settings here, which we can go through and change at some point, but it's very easy to install and to get started. Okay, so now we've got it installed. One thing I have noticed is that I haven't actually got the most recent version installed, so I'm actually going to go into the Divi settings. I'm just going to basically bring up, there's an update section here, type in my username, which is blurred for security reasons. And then I'm going to add, there's an API key in here that'll also allow me to update. This is just so that way people don't get a cracked copy of the software and continue to update from Divi. So it's a good little security feature. It's also good for web designers if you don't want your customers getting access to your Divi account. They're not able to access the details through here. So now I can go up to updates, just as per usual. I've got a few updates to run on this side, but I'm just going to focus on the theme for now. Whoops. Update. Now the theme is successfully updated and we can start having a bit of a play with it. It's quite easy to customize this theme. One of the first things I'm going to do is I'm actually going to change the logo. I did have a logo up before, but I'm not 100% happy with it. So I've actually got another logo on file I'm going to use. So this is where if you go into Divi, into theme options, you can actually upload your logo. So I'm going to click upload. I can choose from the media library, or I can go upload files, which I'm going to do. So I've got this logo here, pre-made. I'll click on that one. It's a PNG with a transparent background, set as logo, save changes. And now we're basically set to start customizing the page. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to customize just the basic theme template of this website. I'm going to go back out to the main website here. I'm going to show you some of the options. As you can see, my logo is now there and we've got the default basic layout. So I'm going to just sort of run you through some of the options. I'm not going to go through them all because obviously this is something you're probably best having to play with yourself. But if I hover over Flayed Industries here, I've got a theme customizer. I also have a module customizer going, but it's something for you to explore yourself once you've started playing a bit. For now, I'm going to go into the theme customizer. So you've got a lot of your usual settings in here, but you've also got a lot of other custom settings that you can use mainly for that are for Divi. You've got your general settings here, like your website identity. You can change your logo, which that's a standard WordPress thing. But under layout here, this is where we can have a bit of fun. First thing I'm going to do, I'm actually going to go into background. I'm going to choose, I'm going to choose a background color. I'm just going to choose a background image. So let's say just something like this for the hell of it. Doesn't have to be anything too perfect. And I'm just going to publish that. Sometimes you will have to refresh if things don't show up, but that's all right. But under layout settings, first thing I can show you is that, for one, we've got a blue button here, so I can change that button to green if I want. That's sort of like your theme accent color. Well, that's actually, so I'll publish that. And we'll go home. You see the background. It is actually behind the content area there. But if I choose a box layout, we get this nice box layout. Just zoom out a bit. So we can work and have a bit of background showing, or we can choose not to. And once again, this is just a bit of a preview glitch. It doesn't actually show up on the main website like that. But you can play around with it a bit, get a box layout or a full width layout. And one of the other things I'm going to do is under typography here, we've got a few fonts. I can choose, obviously I've got a whole range of fonts I can choose from, pretty much all of the fonts in the Google font library. So you've got an endless supply of fonts here you can try. They don't have to be plain. I'm literally just picking them at random. As you can see, we've got a few different ones in there. Just go through until you find one that you do like. It's just a matter of going through and seeing what's available to you. So maybe we want something a little bit weird like this. So yeah, you've got a few options there. So I'm just going to pick a font, just something that's a bit neat and tidy for the sake of the video. Nanito Sans, yeah, we'll try that. Then of course you've got your body font, so you can choose to go something a bit fancy if you want to, or you can just go with your default theme font. If you go right to the bottom, they do have some of the more standard fonts down the bottom here, like Arial and Times New Roman, or you can try and find something here. And once again, you got your header text size. You can do what you want to with that. Line height, body text size, you can make that as big as you want. 14 is generally where it starts. I usually recommend about 16, so it's easier for people to read. I'll change that line height. So you can see we've already started to have a bit of a play with the way the website looks. I'm actually going to choose another font very quickly, something I think is a bit more suitable to match the logo. So we've got looking for Montserrat. This is a font I use on my website, so you can see where I've actually grabbed this font for use on my website. But you can go to fonts.google.com and explore their entire range there and pick a font beforehand. It might be a quicker way of finding a font you like as opposed to going through the scroll. So yeah, it's actually pretty straightforward. So that is basically, I can change my body link color. So that's how you set up the typography. All of the fonts of your website is in this section here under typography, which is also under general settings. So the next one is your header. A lot of people, the header is going to be one of the things that makes a main difference. So once again, I'll go to header background, header format, and we've got a few options. One thing I have is I have a centered header, so I can have the logo at the top, and that underneath. Before I go any further, just to separate things for the sake of the video, I'll make the header a little bit taller, maybe make the logo a bit bigger, and you can just go through and change anything you want. So home is now green because we're actually on the home page. And maybe if I want to change the background of the actual header itself, that is very easy. There's just a background color option here. If I want to, I can make it orange, purple, which doesn't really sort of suit, especially considering we have black text here. So I'm going to go with just a bit of an off-white. Maybe actually, I'll go for a green, and I'll make that just a little bit. So you can sort of play with that a bit to get the effect you want. So you can see there we've got a slightly different header color. And maybe I'll make the text a bit bigger too. Now you can change the font up here also. Once again, Able, you've got all the options in the world to choose from there. So once again, I'm going to just stick with the basic. So we've got our header set up here. I might even zoom in a bit to get for this one. This is another preview error. Go back home. So sometimes you do have to refresh the page to get. That's one of the little funny things, funny things about the theme. At the moment, we're sort of on a mobile setting, like a tablet style. Let's zoom back out. We've got the desktop style, and now we can sort of go back to the header format. And you'll see here we've got the centered inline logo. So we've got this logo in the middle, navigation either side. We've got the slide in. So this is how it looks, and then you simply click this icon, and the navigation slides in on the side, which is pretty nifty. We've got full screen. So I click this now. You get a full screen navigation, which is really, really fancy. You can perform your search up here. Close that. Or we can just go back to the default, which is logo on the left, text on the right. And once again, like I said, you can go in, if you choose under header and navigation, under your primary menu bar, you can play around with logo size, text size, letter spacing. Anything you need to make any adjustments to the way that area looks is pretty much in this area here, including background colors, text colors, and drop-down menu colors, that sort of thing. You also have the option of a secondary menu, because if you've got about 10 pages you want to put in your navigation, sometimes you can run out of space up here. So having a secondary menu can be very handy. So maybe I'll go for like a dark green, or maybe even a lighter green just for the hell of it. We'll set that up. Now I don't have a menu set up for this, so what I will do, I'll just go to header elements. You can, if you are like a local business, you can create a number, so 555, 55555. email test@flade.com, maybe lowercase. Show social icons. Go back. Now if I click this button again, you see we now have this little navigation at the top. If you do, you don't have to have these on. You can go into your menus under Appearance and Menus in WordPress and get options, get your pages like this going across the top of the page. And of course, you have the same options. Text size can be bigger. Letter spacing can be, more or less. We can choose different font like Molly, or, once again, Montserrat. So everything's now those are a bit tight together. So maybe I'll just spread them a bit, make the text a bit bigger. And you can start to see where things are taking shape with your header. And of course, if I switch down here, I can click on tablet, see how it looks on a tablet. We get this nice menu here. Nice menu again. So it actually looks pretty good now on mobile and on tablets. So starting to get a bit of a nice appearance going with the actual template of the site itself. And at any time, we can also go back to the general settings, to layout, choose the box layout, and you can see we now have, if I zoom out a bit, this nice box layout where we've got a picture either side. So you can actually have a lot of fun. If you've got some really cool imagery, you can throw that in there and create a pretty nifty looking site. I'll turn that box layout off, and I'll just, once again, like I said, the previewer isn't bulletproof, but if you just click on a page and let it reload whenever you get a bit of an issue, it'll show you how it will look live when you produce it. So I'm just going to go back to zoom in normal. Once again, that's another preview issue. So now we've got a bit of a basic website layout put together, and we're sort of good to start playing with the customizer itself. Now the page customizer itself is pretty nifty. What I'm going to do, well, first of all, I do want to keep the box layout just for the sake of the video. I'm going to publish this. And one of the things I really like about this theme is the fact that you can export. So if you're actually building on another website and then you want to start a whole new site, you can go to Import Export. You can export all of the customizer settings and then re-import them. So you can literally set everything up on a test site, install Divi, upload all your settings, and everything will just land in place. It even transfers any images across that you're using. I'm just going to close this. And the same goes for all of your page layouts, which I'll show at another point. If I go onto my dashboard, go down to Divi down here into theme options. Now I uploaded my logo here earlier. There's actually a whole range of options in here, like you can have a fixed navigation bar or not, so that it follows you down the page. You've got all these different options, like where you want your sidebar to be, if you want to cue the Google Maps script, which social media icons you want to turn on or off, including their addresses. If you have any custom CSS you want to add, if you're familiar with coding in CSS, you can add that in there. The other thing is too, it also minifies and does a few performance-related tasks, like trying to make your website load faster by including these options here to, compress some of the code in the website. You also have the option to turn on smooth scrolling and have a little back to the top button. You'll notice if I go to this website here, if I scroll down, a little back to the top button clicks up, so I press on that. That's what that is. All these options, however you set it up, you can do the same thing, import and export. So while we're here, you've also got the option to change some of the navigation. You've got some of the builder options where you can enable the Divi builder on certain pages. You can turn on some more of the performance features. Turn on or off any of the stuff that goes in your byline. So if you have a blog post, you can turn the author off or the date off if you don't want the date on there. Same with pages. You can choose to have thumbnails on pages. Like, you can spend a while really, tracking down some nice settings in here, such as, inserting banners. You do have some SEO settings in here, so you might not necessarily need an SEO plugin if you're familiar with that. And of course, you can add code in throughout the website. So if you have something you want to pop up at the top of a blog post or in your header code, you can pop it all in here. Top of your blog posts, header code, body code. If you're familiar with HTML, this can be really handy. If not, not really important. But this entire section can be exported and then re-uploaded. So I've done this a lot in the past, where I've built a website on a test site for a customer where they had an existing WordPress website, and then I've simply gone across, put a coming soon page up, and within half an hour to an hour, I've had everything transferred over, just checked everything, and before you know it, you've got an entire new website up and running. The reason why it would take that long is because obviously I've exported and imported and exported a whole bunch of page layouts as well. So to get into the whole page layout side of things, what we're going to do, we're going to go up to here. You can see we're in our WordPress website. I'm going to go to the About Us page, which I think just has some dummy information. There we go. Now I'm going to actually edit this page and get it looking a bit better. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I'm going to enable the visual builder up here. Now we also have the option, which I'll show you afterwards. Now I'm going to enable the visual builder. I'm not going to build a layout because in this video it might just take a little too long to do. Okay, and I'm going to turn this off, so start building. They actually do, you can go through and they'll show you a tour on how to use the software. Okay, and we get these options. I can use the existing content and just start building from scratch. I can clone an existing page. So if you have another page built in the Divi Builder and you simply want to clone it and change a few things around, you can actually use this feature as well, which is really cool. It just allows you to, so I've set up a lot of templates for pages on other websites. And if I simply want to change a header image and some of the text, I'll just simply go to create a new page, clone that page, and then change what I need and move on to the next page. But one of the other really cool features about Divi is this all comes with the theme. I can choose a pre-made layout. And there's a whole bunch of categories here. All of these layouts, and these aren't just single layouts, these are like layout packs that come with the Divi theme. I could choose any one of these and start working straight away and changing and customizing things to get it look. Like you can see, we've got some really different looking styles here. This here. So let's start off with this one here, the locksmith landing page. You can see here, once we click on that, you've actually got a services page, a landing page, a home page, contact page, with a form at the top. I can actually choose any one of these pages that I want, and start editing it. So it's really cool. It's if I don't want to choose that one, maybe I want to choose another one. Maybe I want to choose this, or this car layout page. I can go through and do any of these layouts that I want. This sort of looks like it fits our theme a bit more, so I could choose that if I want to. Now, they're not going to look exactly like that. They're going to look pretty close, but you're going to need to add some content in there. So I'm actually going to click this page now, the gardener layout, and I'm going to choose the home page. I'm going to click use this layout, replace the existing content, and it's going to import the layout, and I'll have a page design ready to simply change around and do what I want with. Okay, and now we have our layout. So you see here, we've got a layout already. We don't have to go and build an entire page. We can actually find one we like, and we've already got all the bits and pieces. And it's pretty easy to go through and edit. Now, the way that it works is we've got a few different rows here. You get like rows, columns, and then modules. Now, this is actually not easy to explain with the current view. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to save this. But over here, I can close this and open this down here. I can actually go to a row view, wireframe view. So you see here, we can now actually move the bits and pieces around. You see we've got this row here. It's got one column down the left, and then it's got another set of columns down the right, where I can have two. I can even add in here 1 or 3, because this is what's called a specialty row. And then we've got another section here with 4 rows. So if I'm having trouble getting a hold of a particular area, I can actually find it in this view here, move it around, and do what I want with it. And to get out, I can go across to this desktop here, desktop view. Here we are. Now, if you want to actually see what it looks like in an iPad view, like a tablet, you have this tablet view here also. Now, when you do the tablet view, it doesn't show your navigation, but the navigation is there on the final page. Just another one of those little funny things that you just got to get used to. But the navigation is there if you do go live. And of course, you have a phone view, so you can see exactly how things go. Now, that's another really cool feature, is that it's responsive. You can see here we've got a layout. We saw before that the header changes. Now we have a responsive website. The second we import any of this stuff, it's already responsive. We don't have to worry about trying to figure out how to make it work on all the different sort of platforms. You get tablet, it's all there. We're not scrolling left to right. We still got our nice 2-column layout, but it just sort of stacks and rearranges. So instead of this being on the left and that being on the right, stacks it automatically. So yeah, and that's pretty straightforward. We can clone this row if we want to, duplicate the section. We now have it there twice. I decide I don't want it, I can just simply hit the trash button and get rid of it. If I want to change any settings, I can go up here. Now this entire row has all of the settings here. I can actually choose to have this entire section a clickable link if I want to. If I want to change the background, I can make it green, which looks pretty wrong in this particular scenario, red. Or if I don't want a color, maybe I'll just go, I can make it transparent again so it can come through the background, or I can choose white. Another thing I can do is over here, you've got different options. You can choose a gradient, so we can have one color blending into another, or we can trash it. We can have a video, if you have a video to add, to upload an MP4, we can choose a background image. So maybe I'll go into my library. We've got a few images here from the layout itself. You can see that are now downloaded and included. Maybe I want to choose, I don't really have any really suitable background images here. Maybe I'll choose this. You can see we now have this background image. Obviously, you want to choose something a bit more suitable, but it just shows you how much control you have over every little section. So we've got that row set up. I've got the background color as transparent, so I need to pop that back up to full strength on the right here. And you can see here, column 2 has its own background, which is how we're able to have these different sections here, but have the one image. So I can go in and change the background of that particular column. So maybe I want to choose this. And we've got a different background image. So there you go. You can even change the position, how big it is. You've got all the settings you could think of are right here. Top right, center, where it comes from. All these settings are here under background. So you've got the whole row background, and you can even customize what background colors or images you want in each column. So you've got full control over the entire design. I know it's a bit hard to see at the moment because I'm sort of hovering this over the top of the background. The other thing too is we've got more design options here, such as the layout. You can choose to have an inner shadow. You can have some dividers in there, top and bottom. You can really split things up, change your spacing, add a border. It's all very easy. But one of the cool things about this also is if you want to change, we can see here in this row here, it's got a 54 pixel space at the top. I can actually make that bigger by clicking and dragging it. If I want to make more space, I can click and drag in the column area, which is the green, or I can click and drag in the blue area, which is the entire row. I can make that big, small, do whatever I want with it. It's quite simple. So you can see here, maybe I don't like this section here. I can actually bin that. It's very straightforward. The other thing I can do is, let's say I want to import this into another page, this section here. I can do, if you see, if I hover over this particular module, I get this gray box. I can click on here to save it and add it to the library. I can do it with the columns, save and add to the library, or I can do it with the row itself. If I go up to this row up here, I can click this little download button here and add a layer. So I can actually choose, say I can call it main row or something. Maybe I want to put it on another page. I can make it, if I do it now and just save it to the library, I can import it and change it. If I make it global, which I'm going to do in this case, wherever I change it, it will change anywhere that is inserted. So if I save that to library, and now I can actually insert that by going and clicking the blue plus button, add from library. You can see I can choose a regular, specialty, or full width section, which is a bit to go into, but I'm going to go add from library. I've got my main row. Now I've added that in. See how it's now a lime green? That means it's a global row. This one doesn't have the lime green, but this one does. So that means I've created a global section. Now it's here twice because I've saved it, and then I've reinserted it. So if I change fruit and veggies, see we've got fruit and veggies here and there. If I change that to fruit and nuts and save, it'll think about it, and it's actually automatically updated down here because I have a global section here and there. And I can go through and change any of this text by typing it. I can change it down here just by highlighting it and going, typing what I want. If I want to, I can also change it to Georgia. I can change the font. I can change it to a heading if I want to. I can make it italics, bold. All the settings are there in your visual builder. If you don't want to use your visual builder here, what you can do is also, wait a second, I've just clicked off. You do have to click off if you want to do this. So if I click off over here, this is another bit of a glitch with the visual builder, but I can click the cog and change my settings here again. So same again up here, click my little cog icon, and all my settings are there now too. Now if I want to be able to see more of this and I don't care about the visual builder, I can bring this out and it brings up all of my settings. So I can type in here, I can change the links in the module, I can change the background color of the module. If I want to give it a drop shadow, so we're looking at this here, go to design. We've got all these design options to change the way we like to look. So I can actually make this particular row this one here, have a larger title. I can change the line height so it's tighter. And then I can add a drop shadow. And I can make that drop shadow any color I want, orange, green. I can do all sorts of things like that. I can add a box shadow. So this particular section, I want to add a shadow to that. Add a box shadow to it. So there's all these options you can play with depending on where you are. If you think the things are a bit too tight around the edge there, I can go down. So I've got my spacing up here. And I can, maybe I want to add 20 pixels. Although that's the margin. We want to change the padding to add a bit of space around it. So 20, 20, 20. Now we've got some space around it. This is actually, looks like it's a button. So if I want to, I can go to the button. I can make the background color black, the text color black, sorry. Make the button background color orange. Now I have an orange button. So you can literally customize every single piece of your page. If you decide, 3 columns isn't enough, I want 4 columns. I hover over my area here and just click this little column button. I can make it 4 columns. I can make it 6 columns, which I'll do, which is a bit tight for this particular piece of content. And if I want to add content in there, I can duplicate this, or I can just move it, click and drag it into here. You see we've got it there. Maybe I'll do the same here, drag this one up here, drag this one up there. Now I've got my my 6 columns. I'll delete this one. This is how easy it is to edit a page. If you want to build a new page, it is quite simple. Basically, you start off with a blank canvas and you get a little row. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to exit this. And you see here, we can choose to discard our changes or we can save our changes. If I X this, if you want to save as you're going, you click on this little purple button down the bottom here, click save. It's that simple. I now go up to the exit the visual builder, click on that. And you can see we're all saved on our page. Now, if I want to create a new page, it's quite simple. I just go to new page. Now, I've actually got Gutenberg installed on this website. So there is usually a back-end builder if you don't have it installed, but because we do, I'm just going to call this new page. It comes up with an option to use that default editor or go straight to the Divi builder. So I'm going to use the Divi builder in this case. And we're going to basically I'm just going to show you very quickly. I'm not going to create a whole new page for you. I'm going to show you how easy it is to build from scratch. I'm going to choose a full width row. I'm going to put, say, we'll put a call to action in there. So this is something else too. You've got all these modules. You have an accordion, audio, bar counters. You can actually put a blog section in there, buttons, that sort of thing. Email opt-in form, a gallery. You just put a simple image in there. Maps. You've got all these options that you can actually choose from. Now I'm actually going to go back up to the top, create a call to action. We've got this background here. Say, sign up. Click here. Get our free thing. For the link, I'm just going to add a hashtag, but you would put a link to whatever page you want in there. And now we have our call to action. Well, what happens if we don't want it in a green box? Well, we've got the background here. I can turn that off. Tick. Now you can't see it because I've got white on white. So I need to change the row here. Like I said before, the modules, which is like your individual pieces of content, are in gray. Your columns are in green, and your rows are in blue. So I'm going to change the row by clicking the cog icon, going to background, choosing, say, we'll go for the green again. And then I'm actually going to add a background to it as well, a background image. I'm going to go with this one here. Now, it's still a bit hard to read. So what I'm actually going to do is on the design tab here, I've actually got a few options. There's I can't remember exactly where it is, but there is a section for an overlay. I'm just not quite sure where to find it. But one thing we can do also is I can change this to make it fit, actual size, cover. I can also have a parallax effect. So when I scroll, it moves with the page. So we've got that true parallax set up now. I go to design, show an inner shadow, filters. So this is where we can actually choose to decrease brightness, contrast. We can actually change the contrast of the section as well. We can even change the opacity. So you've got all of these options here to play with to get the look that you want. Animations, we can have it fade in, slide in, flip, fold. All of these options, and all these options are actually standard to just about every single thing that we have on there. So it really is quite cool. So that's basically how easy it is if I want to add another row. Now I've actually got a plugin installed which automatically adds to the bottom of the page, but I can turn it off on that page, so just you might need to ignore that. But if I add this here, I can choose another row, regular. Maybe I want to make this 3 columns, and I can start adding modules. I can add an accordion here, so that way I've got different bits of content that can open. Maybe I want to add a number counter, 50. The title goes here, so 50% done. I want to add a simple text option in there and go to text. And this actually just has your default WordPress editor, so I can go blah, 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 across. I can add media as normal, or I can actually add underneath that an image. So maybe I'll click on here. Maybe I choose an image I saw earlier. Maybe this. And we've got our image that I put together in Canva on another video. And you can really start to build out your pages. And then, of course, if you have a blog, so if I just exit this, so you can see here we've got all these. We can start building quite easily and get anything we want. I can go to the blog. And we've got our basic. So this is not using the Divi builder. We've got our basic setup. It's quite easy to go through. Click on a blog post. And we've got a nice basic layout with a sidebar, which we can customize in the theme customizer. We can make that wider. But it still works as a normal WordPress site. If you don't want to use the Divi builder, you can customize your theme to look the way you want it to and go from there. Very, very basic, nice and easy. So if you do want to add some bits and pieces above here, it can be a bit difficult, but there are plugins you can get from Divi Space that allow you to do that. And it's just really awesome. Now, that's the Divi Builder. The one thing I really like about this is not so much just the Divi Builder itself. You've seen how it all works. I've got other videos which I will link to in the description if you want to see a little bit more on how to use the Divi theme. But this shows you just how easy it is to create anything you want. Now, I'm going to basically, there's a playlist also below if you really want to see all the bits and pieces. But if I go over to here to Divi, if you do purchase Divi, you don't just get the Divi theme. One of the reasons I like this theme so much is we've got this WordPress themes gallery. If you buy Divi, you actually get all of the themes. You get the Divi theme, you get the extra theme. The price is actually pretty good too. If I go to join to download, it's basically $89 a year, and you get all the themes, all the plugins. I'll show you the plugins in a minute. But the themes themselves, apart from the Divi theme, don't forget you get a good, you probably get a good 100 or so layouts, which could also double for themes themselves. Extra has a few sort of magazine style options where it allows you to create more of a news landing page of different categories on the page very easily, which is really cool. If I go to page 2, you've got all these other themes here as well that you can use. Now, some of them are a bit older, but the ones on the first page are pretty new. So they've got all the features you need. If you go right back to the beginning, you'll find that you start to get some of the simpler stuff. So although you do get a lot of themes, some of them are actually not up to date, but the ones that are worth using are at the forefront, and they're pretty good. And then of course you've got plugins. Now, one of the things that isn't good about Divi is if you decide to change themes altogether, your pages tend to go a bit funny, and you get a lot of short codes, and it doesn't look very good. But if you install the Divi Builder plugin, you'll be able to keep those pages displaying as they should, because this plugin will work with any theme and allow you to keep your pages design on there. So that's a plugin. So if you change a theme, you also have the plugin, the Divi Builder plugin for backup. Now, the Bloom email opt-ins is another really awesome feature that allows you, it's a plugin that allows you to have a pop-up. You can have a pop-up on screen, so if someone goes onto your website, you can customize and have an email subscription pop-up if that's something you want, which can also be sort of in the middle of the page, the corner. So you can see this is the sort of thing you're looking at here. We've got, like a pop-up. It's fully customizable. As I said, you can go in the middle, the corner, in the middle of your content, at the bottom of your content, sidebar. So if you're having trouble getting email opt-in set up on your website, getting the Divi theme means you also get access to Bloom, which allows you to, set all this stuff up pretty easily. Alternatively, maybe you want to get the Bloom plugin so you can get access to the Divi theme. It depends, whatever your priority is. And it's pretty cool. So you've got a few other plugins. Monarch is like a social sharing plugin. And there's a few other bits and pieces. But as you can see, you don't just get the one theme. You don't just get the Divi theme. You get all these other themes. You get all these plugins. And it's just a really awesome piece of software. So, of course, they have an entire library of information here showing you exactly what you can do. You can go through and explore all the modules on the main website. Once again, there's a link in the description. I will pop it up on the screen again for you, so that way you can go and have a look at this for yourself, because it really is awesome. Take some time and just see if it has everything you want, because chances are it probably does. Videos, sliders, testimonials. You can add sidebars to your pages. So if you want to create something similar to your normal layout with a few bits and pieces around it, you can still do that. And it's just very easy to use. So easily the best theme I've ever seen. That's why I usually go on about it. That's why I build all my websites on it. I build all my client sites on it, and it's just fantastic. So I hope that's sort of given you a good idea. Now, like I said, if you want to explore, I've got a few other videos showing a bit more of the visual builder. I'll put them in the link below. I've also got a playlist below if you want to check them all out. Otherwise, I do recommend visiting the main website so you can check out all the features yourself, because they go into far more depth than I do. I do go into a lot of depth, but they really put everything on the table, and you can actually go and try it. If you want to, you can go to the Divi page, click try it for free, and they'll actually load up a page for you on their website so you can go in, play with the builder, and see if it works for you. You can take the tour, you can just start building. And you can test it out for yourself. So you can see here, we've got padding. You can change the padding. We can change all this around on the actual Elegant Theme site. So you get a chance to play with it and see exactly how it works. So I do recommend you do that. So if you want to check that out, do head to the link on the screen. Like I said, it's an affiliate link. I do make money if you purchase it, but honestly, I found out about this before I knew they had an affiliate program, and I've been using it for years. It's just awesome, absolutely awesome. I can't rave about it enough. Like I said, there are a few cons, but they're easy to work around because they're so minor. And yeah, so I hope you found the video useful. If you do want more information, also I have a blog post that goes through a lot of the points in the video. I'll link to that below as well. And I hope you have a good day, and I hope you get to check out this theme and enjoy it as much as I have. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later.